at the actual documents here. All right. So we've got let me zoom in real good so you guys can see. All right, we got Toronto Johnson. Now, this Toronto Johnson is his son. It's not him. And his mother, Miss Gwendolyn, died, as you all remember, in August of 2021. So she has been dead for August, September, October, November, December, January, almost a year and 6 months. So if she died a year and 6 months ago, there's no way that she would be in an apartment paying rent, right? Who would be in her apartment paying rent? Her son, Toronto Johnson, TJ Jr. or TJ. Okay, so Toronto Jr. So they filed this in May, saying failure to pay, right? They did a warrant of restitution ordered. There was a warrant of restitution ordered, a warrant of restitution return of services evicted November 21st, 2022. This is when they filed the warrant of restitution. This is when the restitution was agreed upon by the judge. And then this is the warrant of restitution return of service evicted November 21st. Now, TAHARKA was going heavy at Tariq in November, if I'm not mistaken, right? He was getting his Thanksgiving show and stuff together, right? Getting ready for Black Friday and all of that while his son was evicted. Because the mother is dead, but his son's name is still on the documents, right? He's still a tenant there. And his son is now 19 years old. TAHARKA said in a video, he was underage. No, he's 19 years of age. He's old enough to be put on as a tenant. When the mother died, TAHARKA should have taken care of the business of his son if his son is underage or was not competent enough to handle the business of having an apartment by himself, right? TAHARKA should have stepped in. But no, he was worried about Tariq, right? Right. So let's go to what TAHARKA showed tonight. So that was May 26th, and then it came back, the latest one. This is the one that TAHARKA showed. Say, landlord-tenant dismissal. See, they dismissed it. They dismissed it. They did not dismiss it. Okay? They already had the eviction in November. So they did not dismiss it. Now, let's read what some of the law has to say about what a landlord-tenant dismissal means. Because as a Moor, we study the etymology, right? And we read what that word actually meant, blah, 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 and all of that, right? TAHARKA should have done his research because he's the real researcher, right? I'm a researcher. Yeah, we wouldn't be here today discussing this because he would have told the truth and not lies, right? So let's go. We already see that the judgment was an eviction, okay? So we got failure to pay rent, petition for warrant of restitution. Remember, we saw the restitution. Before an eviction can take place, the landlord must get a judgment in one of the cases described above, numbers 1 through 4, and then file this petition, which, if granted, allows the landlord to evict the person in the property. So we already saw that they petitioned first for restitution, and then it said restitution is ordered, meaning, and then it said evicted. So he was evicted in the documents November 21st, 2022. Now, let's also go into the dismissal part that TAHARKA did very poorly explaining. Expose the truth, because I'm out here to expose the truth and the frauds and the grifters and the scammers and the liars and the thieves and the... Yeah. Me too, Tahark. I'm here to do the same thing. Dismissals by the landlord. Okay. So, Lee, well, I can read it all, but I'm sure you guys would love to read it yourselves. Basically, there is also an instances where the tenant agrees to move out with or without paying back rent. Because the tenant self-vacated, the landlord no longer needs to the court to repossess their property. So the landlord files a dismissal in court. Due to the nature of these private conversations, we cannot deduce the probability of housing stability for these tenants. So basically, they tell you that either the tenant paid back the money, there's no need to, they pay back the money and they stay in the property, they caught up, so that they will dismiss it, and as you can see, it's a document that the landlord actually put in, and you can tell that the person just decided to move out. Once they got the eviction papers, they moved out, so therefore they did not have to go further and get a sheriff to come in and put them out.